The RAF is reported to have paid £5,000 each to 31 white men who were unfairly disadvantaged by its recruitment process. The Air Force apparently has been under massive pressure to recruit more ethnic minority and female pilots. I found all this bonkers, Ella. I really do. I think it's ludicrous. Just get the best person for the job, surely. What am I missing?
No, you're not missing anything. And probably the most ludicrous part of it is that the person at the sort of focal point of all of this, who was sending these emails asking to get rid of all the useless white male pilots, was white and male. So it's kind of some kind of weird self-flagellation going on there. And, it's actually quite interesting when you look at the reports of what was the discussion going on in these emails. It was I think it's an insight into what happens at a lot of institutions or companies at the moment, which is there's this kind of mad scramble to say, not that they were actually politically or morally invested in the idea that more women or more black women or more black men or whatever would be a good thing, but it was all just about the ticking box, the quotas. So the emails kind of said, we don't have enough numbers. Can we get together any more women from this, group of people who've applied? It was really instrumental. It was really cynical. And I think that tells you a lot about the way in which these diversity drives take place, that it's not actually about any kind of sense that a woman would bring anything different to the role of a pilot than a man would, but it's just about saying it looks better if we have some skirt in there. And it really is as insulting as that, I think, particularly for the women who would be put in those roles if they knew that they were only being hired ahead of a male colleague because of the fact that they were a woman. That is the kind of sexism, insinuating that there is some kind of difference between the two of us in our skill level or something. That should be consigned to history. We surely don't think that anymore.
Do we? Do you think that? Do you sit there and think, actually, what you need is a woman in this job, that job, or whatever?
I'm a big fan of diversity, and I think diversity is very important, but I think this is a joke subject. I mean, quite frankly, who'd want to get in a fighter plane right about now when we're prodding the bear with a big stick and the world is completely out of kilter? I don't see too many people queuing up to be pilots right about now, but it does seem like a crazy one. Diversity in its place is absolutely right. When it's not, it's not. Clearly, it isn't here.
What's its place?
Its place is it comes down to fairness again. It comes down to making sure that we can have a balanced society, Unfortunately, what it means, institutional racism is a real thing. The government might like to retract that and play around with race reports, which is what they did, rewrote it once he got to number 10 Downing Street. So the authors got the blame for saying that institutional racism didn't belong in the UK, when actually that wasn't what they said at all. It wasn't an issue. So I think it counters institutional racism. You talked about young people getting jobs earlier. It crosses over. Young people with certain surnames that might, for instance, sound African, might find themselves not getting put together on a shortlist. It happens. It's real.
You've hit on a fascinating point there, and I want to return to it. Gary's saying, yes, diversity, to balance things up, to stop things like institutional racism. Is he right? Would you support diversity drives in those kind of instances?